Hello everybody, welcome back to Tiger Tales, a place where you'll find original stories and fanfictions written and read to you by your host, me, Tai Tiger. Now quickly, I just want to say that all fanfictions are fictions written by a fan. I don't mean to infringe on copyright or infringing into the original content. Everything is hearsay. So let's dive in with today's story. Today we are back with Power Rangers Cyberforce V2, a alternate universe to the original Power Rangers Cyberforce, written and read to you by Cosplay Dude 637 on the Power Rangers Universe 19 Spotify podcast. I do have permission to write this story by Cosplay Dude himself. So let's dive in with Power Rangers Cyberforce V2, Chapter 2, Cybervirus 1. The Rangers and Haley were back in Blessington. Daisy and Timothy sat in the staff room to the museum, which had been closed for some time. Ace started pacing back and forth. "Babe, please, you're making me dizzy," Daisy snapped. Daisy was a brunette girl with a fringe, bright green eyes. She was a very average build and wore a white top with a black skirt and Ace's grey jacket. "I'm thinking, okay?" Ace replied. Ace was more of a muscly type, with brown hair that was shaved short, blue eyes, and wore a pair of blue jeans and a black top with a silver line going down one side. "Well, think without movement," Daisy whined as she rubbed her eyes. "Guys, what do you think's happened with Rose, Trixie and Derek?" Timothy asked. Timothy was the scrawniest one, with a lanky build, with shaggy brown hair and blue eyes. He wore an orange top and some shorts. "I don't know, Tim, we will find them," Daisy reassured him. "You shouldn't fill his head with hope," Ace snapped. "Hey, I'm sat right here, you know," Timothy barked. "Will you three stop? We are missing 3 Rangers. We can't have the only 3 we have fighting each other," Haley yelled as she walked into the room. "Wait, what do you mean, missing 3 Rangers?" Ace asked, confused. "The power semi-transference technically worked," Haley said. "Wait, you mean Rose, Derek and Trixie are Power Rangers?" Daisy stated. "Yes, but it wasn't completed, so I don't know exactly what that means," Haley replied. "Do you know where they are?" Timothy asked. "I'm afraid not," Haley said under her breath. "Where is Nate gone?" Daisy asked. "He had to leave to deal with his brother or something," Haley replied. "So we are left on our own then," Timothy sighed. Suddenly an alert started ringing. Haley bolted to her computer and rapidly hit her keyboard. Suddenly a monster came onto the screen. The monster was a megaphone with arm and legs. 2 round blades on either side near the top held its eyes. The monster started blasting big sound waves, destroying the market stall. The trio stood behind her, watching also. "Guys, it is time to ranger up and go save the market. We can't let the negative energy linger, or else it will affect the barrier to the cyber realm," Haley commanded. "Ah, got it," Timothy nodded. "Come on, team, let's go."
Hey there, podcast listener. You enjoying what you're listening to? Well then, do I got a special treat for you. Storytime with Cosplay Dude 637. That's me. I'm your host, and I like to tell you stories. Stories that I personally enjoy. So, buckle up, get comfortable, because we're going on a wild ride.
The trio teleported into the market, which was now clear of all civilians. "What have we here?" the megaphone monster yelled out. "Your worst nightmare," Timothy called out. "I'm Megafonster. I am the nightmare," the monster said. "More like mega annoying," Daisy snapped. "Ready, Rangers?" Ace called out. "Ready," Daisy and Timothy said in unison. "Scan DNA," Ace called out. As he waved his hand over his morpher, the morpher started glowing silver. "Cybercharge," Ace called out. He slammed his hand down on the morpher, and a flash of silver light, Ace was morphed into the Silver Cyberforce Ranger. "Scan DNA," Daisy called out. As she waved her hand over her morpher, the morpher started glowing white. "Cybercharge," Daisy called out. She slammed her hand down on the morpher, and a flash of white light, Daisy was morphed into the white Cyberforce Ranger. "Scan DNA," Timothy called out. As he waved his hand over his morpher, the morpher started glowing orange. "Cybercharge," Timothy called out. As he slammed his hand down on his morpher, and a flash of orange light, Timothy was morphed into the orange Cyberforce Ranger. The 3 Rangers dropped into their stances. "Power Rangers? She never said anything about Power Rangers," Megafonster yelled out. "Who's she?" the Silver Ranger asked. "That's none of your business, Mr. Nosy," the monster screeched. Then the Rangers ran at Megafonster. The monster shot a powerful sound wave from its megaphone body, knocking the Rangers off their feet. The Silver Ranger jumped back up and ran at the monster. He jumped up in the air and aimed his kick at the monster's chest, but Megafonster jumped to one side, dodging the attack. Then the Silver Ranger landed. Megafonster shot another sound wave, hitting the Silver Ranger, sending him crashing into one of the market stalls. The Orange Ranger ran at Megafonster and dived at him. Megafonster grabbed him and hugged him very tight. The Orange Ranger started smacking the monster, trying to get free. Then the monster shot another sound wave. The Orange Ranger yelled out in pain. Then the Megaphone monster dropped him. "Guys, running at him one at a time clearly isn't working," the White Ranger called out. The Orange Ranger and Silver Ranger regrouped with the White Ranger. "Guys, Daisy is right. It is time for a new approach," Haley said over their communication devices. "Okay, what do you suggest, Doc?" the Silver Ranger asked. "I think it's time we check out our new cyber weapons and take him for a spin," Haley said. "Oh yeah," the Orange Ranger cheered. "Alright guys, you heard the Doc," the Silver Ranger called out, and all three Rangers touched the weapon icon on their morpher screen. "Download! Cyber hatchets!" Silver Ranger called out, and two silver axes formed in his hand. "Download! Cyber shield!" the Orange Ranger called out, and an orange shield formed in his hand. "Download! Cyber deck!" the White Ranger called out, and several white playing cards formed around the White Ranger. Then the Orange Ranger grabbed the rim of his circular shield and threw it at the monster. The shield hit Megafonster and bounced back, and the Orange Ranger caught his shield, then crouched down in a defensive position. The shield doubled in size as the Megaphone monster shot another sound wave, but this time the sound wave hit the shield and didn't leave a scratch. He then spun around and tilted the shield slightly. The Silver Ranger ran at the shield and stepped on it. The Orange Ranger then pushed up, launching the Silver Ranger high in the air. Then, with the Silver Ranger landed in front of Megafonster, he swung his twin hatchets as hard as he could, slashing the monster. Then the White Ranger threw her hands out, and the deck of cards that were floating around her all flew at the monster, striking it repeatedly. Then the Silver Ranger slashed the monster across the torso. The Megaphone monster stood there for a second, then started to fall backwards. "Ah, and I didn't get to see how loud I could go," Megafonster called out before hitting the floor and exploding into nothing. "Ah, and I didn't get to make any puns," the Orange Ranger called out in mockery. The Rangers regrouped. "Well done, Rangers," the Silver Ranger called out, as all their weapons disappeared. "Yes, well done indeed," a voice called out. The three Rangers turned to see Derek stood there, with his arms crossed with a devilish grin on his face. He was also quite muscly, like Ace. He had short blonde hair and wore a white top with black jeans. "Oh my god, it's Derek," the Orange Ranger called out in disbelief. "We thought the strange dark figure kidnapped you," the White Ranger called out in glee. Both Rangers were about to run to Derek when the Silver Ranger stopped them both. "Oh, come on, babe, it's Derek. He's here. He is safe," the White Ranger said. "Nuh-uh, something's wrong here," the Silver Ranger muttered. "You're always so keen. Always got a keen eye, haven't you, Ace?" Derek said with a grin. "What's going on here?" Ace asked. "Well, you see, Haley's transference worked, but we need a little fix-me-up," Derek said, still grinning. "What does that mean?" the White Ranger asked, concerned. "Oh, let me show you," Derek yelled. He then revealed his cybermorpher. "Scan DNA," Derek called out. He waved his hand over the morpher. The morpher started glowing black and green, and it was glitchy. "Cybervirus 1, charge!" Derek called out, and he slammed his hand down on his morpher, and in a flash of light he was morphed into the Virus 1 Ranger. The Ranger was white with a gold band around his torso forming X and a green circle in the middle of his chest. "He kinda looks like us," the Ranger stated. "Yes, but better," Virus 1 Ranger called out. Then in a flash, the Virus 1 Ranger was up close with the Silver Ranger. Then he punched the Silver Ranger in the stomach, then swung his fist upward, punching him in the face. Then the Virus 1 Ranger spun around and kicked the Silver Ranger off his feet. The White and Orange Ranger both tried to punch the Virus 1 Ranger, but he caught both their fists at the same time. Then he kicked the White Ranger, then pulled the Orange Ranger closer before kneeing him in the chest. Then he slammed his fist on the Orange Ranger's back, dropping him to the floor. The Virus 1 Ranger demorphed. "That's just a taste of what I can do," Derek grinned. He then pressed his morpher and teleported away. The Rangers all slowly climbed to their feet and all regrouped. Then they demorphed. "What the hell was that?" Ace snapped. "I dunno, but that was Extremely powerful and extremely quick. I think we need to go see the doc, Daisy suggested. The trio teleported in whilst Haley was on the phone. Are you sure? Are you sure? Yeah, I get that, but are you sure they're not like when Blaze and Roxy was kidnapped by Vengeance? Haley asked. Now, no, they were avatars. We had their real bodies. This was actually Derek, Nate replied on the other end of the line. Okay, Nate, thank you very much for all your help, Haley said. Anytime, Nate replied. Then he hung up. Haley placed her phone down, then turned to the trio. Well, that rules out evil avatars, Haley sighed. So he could still be brainwashed? Timothy asked. Haley nodded. It's weird. Derek was so nice. He was headstrong. That's why we picked him for the transference program, Daisy stated. Yeah, well, I am more worried about the fact that he floored us, Ace snapped. We will get more time next time. Right, dude? Timothy cheered. Whatever, Ace huffed. Then Ace stormed out of the room. Well done on taking down another one of the barrier breakers, Haley said to Daisy. Thanks, Doc. And by the way, those weapons are dope, Daisy replied with a grin. Thanks. I lost the blueprints to the original 8 weapons, so I had to improvise, Haley stated. Well, my shield is so damn cool, Timothy cheered. Haley smiled at Timothy. Derek teleported into his base. Rose and Trixie was there waiting for him. He wasn't supposed to morph, you know, Rose barked. Oh, bite me, Derek snapped back. The doctor isn't going to like this, Trixie sneered mockingly. Well, she can bite me too, for I like her, Derek huffed. I fixed you, boy, remember that, a voice called out. Derek and the girls looked over to see the mysterious Dr. H stood there in the doorway. Yeah, and I wiped the floor with those rangers, Derek yelled. And your powers are too dangerous and unstable, Dr. H snipped back. Yeah, whatever, Derek moaned. Then he walked past Dr. H and went to have a shower. And there we have it, Chapter 2 of Cyberforce. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Like I said, this is a fanfiction of a fanfiction. Cyberforce was originally written and is still being written by Cosplay Dude 637 on Power Rangers Universe 19, and it is an amazing storyline. I am a huge fan of all of Cosplay Dude's work, and I just wanted to play an homage to my Power Appetite. So make sure you go check out that. Also, he has another Spotify podcast, or just another podcast with other stories such as Shadowhunters, Sword Art Online, and X-Men on his Storytime with Cosplay Dude 637 podcast. Go make sure you check out both of them. He's a great story writer and his stories are absolutely epic. Go make sure you check out Mark, the Red Cornish Ranger, with Nursery Comics, who's turning comic books into audio dramas, and of course very soon he shall be doing his own original stuff as well. So thank you all for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Leave me down in the comments down below what you guys think of this story, and I shall see you guys very, very soon.